This game doesn't want to waste your time, but it will punish you for every mistake you make. Samson, a Tyndalston Story, drops April 8th. And before you even think about buying it, you need to understand one thing. This isn't power fantasy. This is pressure. You play as Samson McRae, a guy who comes back to a city that already broke him once, now owing more money than he can realistically pay back. And the people he owes? They're not waiting patiently. They're using his sister as leverage, and every single day that debt gets worse. And that idea right there, debt that never stops growing, isn't just story. It's the entire game. Every day, you wake up with a number hanging over your head. You go out, take jobs, fight people, drive through half-destroyed streets, and try to survive long enough to earn something back. But here's the catch, you can't do everything. You have limited actions, limited energy, limited time. So every decision you make matters. Not in a marketing way, but in a very real, mechanical way. Pick the wrong job, waste too much time, or push too hard. And the game doesn't reset for you. It just gets harder. And honestly, that's one of the most interesting things about this game. Because when this system works, it creates something a lot of games are missing. Tension that actually means something. You're not just playing missions, you're managing survival. But that also leads directly into one of the biggest risks. This kind of design can feel amazing or exhausting. If you enjoy games where every choice has weight, where you're constantly thinking ahead and adapting, this could hook you instantly. But if you prefer a more relaxed experience, something where you can explore freely, mess around, or recover easily from mistakes, this game might feel like it's constantly pushing back against you. And it is designed to push back. Now let's talk about gameplay, because this is where things get a bit more grounded. At its core, Samson is a mix of close quarters combat and driving. You're fighting in tight spaces, alleyways, interiors, rooftops, and then switching into cars that aren't just for transport, but actual tools for survival. And that combination has a lot of potential. The combat is described as brutal, physical, and direct. Not flashy, not over the top. Just raw, heavy hits where positioning and timing matter. At the same time, driving isn't clean or polished in a traditional racing sense. It's aggressive. You're ramming, escaping, smashing through obstacles, using the environment however you can. So when it all comes together, the game has this very grounded, almost gritty rhythm to it. Fight, escape, recover, repeat. But again, there's a trade-off. Because when a game relies heavily on just a few core mechanics, those mechanics have to feel really good. If the combat ends up feeling stiff, or the driving feels inconsistent, there's not much else there to carry the experience. And that's something people are already a bit cautious about. Even early impressions compare it to games like Sefu or older crime-focused titles, which sounds promising, but also sets expectations pretty high. And expectations can be dangerous. Now, one thing the game is doing differently, and this is important, is scale. This isn't trying to be a massive open-world sandbox. Instead, it's more focused. Smaller city districts, more deliberate design, and systems that react to what you do. The city remembers your actions. People respond differently depending on your choices. That's a big positive. Because instead of quantity, the game is going for impact. But it also raises a question: how much is actually there? A smaller, denser world can be amazing, but only if it feels alive. If it ends up feeling empty, or if the variety of missions doesn't hold up over time, that focused experience can start to feel limited instead of intentional. And then there's the overall tone. This game leans heavily into a noir-style grounded crime story. No superheroes, no over-the-top spectacle. Just desperation, violence, and consequences. That's refreshing. But it also means the game isn't trying to be fun in the traditional sense all the time. It's trying to be intense, and that's a very specific kind of experience. So here's what you should actually be asking yourself before buying Samson. A Tyndalston Story. Do you want a game that challenges you constantly, where every decision matters and nothing is guaranteed? Or do you want something more flexible, more forgiving, more focused on freedom than pressure? Because this game is clearly choosing one side. And it's not trying to please everyone. There's real potential here. A unique system, a focused design, and a tone that stands out in a market full of safer, more familiar games, but at the same time, it's a debut title from a new studio. And games like this live or die on execution. So what you're about to see next is exactly what you need. No talking, no opinions, no framing, just raw gameplay. Watch how the combat feels, watch how the driving flows, watch how the world reacts. Because with a game like this, you won't need anyone else to tell you if it's worth buying.
I work for other people. They called it opportunity. I called it debt. The city never stopped moving, and neither did what I owed. I never picked the smart job. I picked the one that brought me another day. In Tyndalston, nobody waited their turn. If you gave them space, they took your teeth. Sometimes you didn't need skill. You just needed something solid. You hear that? Yeah, that's the sound a face makes when it meets regret. Pain built up. Adrenaline took over. I didn't fight to win. I fought to finish. Cars had weight. Every hit mattered. The more work I did, the louder the city got. Miss a payment, and they reminded you. They weren't negotiators. They were punctuation. When the day ran out, so did your luck. Sleep didn't fix a thing. It just reset the clock. It was all connected. Time, debt, violence, and speed. People talk about freedom like it's a feeling. They have no idea.
Tyndalston, asshole of the world. Everyone's either paying, collecting, or buried in between. My past mistakes are catching up. In this city, desperation's the currency. You can't outrun debt. You can't freeze interest. You can curl up and die in the street. Or you can fight the fuck back.